Hi, welcome to another Black Bikes Babble. So once again, the formidable Café Passé in Tucson was kind enough to let us record the Babble in their amazing patio backyard. I have to give you guys an update about certain animals that became part of the channel for a while. Noodle and Duck, the puppy, and the little feral kitten that we took up. There's another Babble where we talk about them in detail. Noodle found a forever home with a wonderful family here in Tucson. He will enhance those people's lives quite greatly because he's an amazing pupper. And with Duck, I have a little story to tell. It was 1992, I think. I am on a cross-country trip with my stepbrother. It's actually a coast-to-coast-to-coast trip, so we went from New York all the way to the West Coast and back. It was a trip of a lifetime, I'm telling you. I think everybody who wants to have an educated opinion about this country should do a coast-to-coast trip. It's eye-opening, I'm not gonna lie. At one point, somewhere in Utah, I think, we are going eastwards at that point. We stop at a rest stop, and as I step out of the bathroom, there is this little kitten sitting on the banister. She's totally friendly and meow and, all that. So I pet her a little, and as I pet her, it was dark, it's nighttime. I feel there's a string attached to her. So I'm like, oh my God, you got tangled in a string, but then I see she's actually a collar, and this is like a tied string. So I'm like, okay, so this is deliberate. So I follow the string, it's a long string, around the corner, and at the other end of that string, there's a dude. Young man, proper road hippie, dreads, earthy colored, natural fabrics, clothes, flip-flops, beard. And I'm like, oh, okay, so the kitten is being taken care of. It's all good. So we start talking, and turns out he is hitching a ride. He wants to get a ride to Kansas. So I talk to my stepbrother, and I'm like, you cool with that? And he's like, yeah, sure, let's take him on. And so we invite him with his 2 packs and a kitten on a string. And as he sits down in the back of our car, the first thing he does is he takes out a knife, and he takes out some cheese and some sausage, and he's like, you guys hungry? So he worked on a sheep farm in Utah, and that's like sheep cheese and some amazing sausage, some bread. My God, it was delightful. So we drive all the way to Kansas with him, and with him is the kitten on a string. And it was a super interesting and quite enlightening journey with this guy, because it was yet another piece to the puzzle that is Americana that lets you understand how diverse this country is. So after many days in a car with that guy and the kitten on a string, we reach the crossroads in Kansas where the highway to Chicago crosses our way as we are planning to go to New York. Chicago is where the guy lives. And we let him out of the car, and there's a big goodbye, and we go into some store and grab some supplies. And as we come out, we see him trying to hitch another ride, and we see how people treat him. Everybody's super standoffish to him. I mean, obviously at this point, he's been a week on the road. He's not the most groomed. My stepbrother and I, we just look at each other and we're like, we can't leave that guy here. It's just not okay. Let's go to Chicago. Why not? So we walk up to him and we're like, throw your back in the car. This is stupid. Take your kitten. We're going to drive you to Chicago. And he's like, no way. This is like well out of your way. And we're like, we don't care. We're going to get you home. We drive all the way to Chicago with him, and he directs us where to go. And he directs us into this very posh country club neighborhood, golf course and everything. And we're like, that guy lives here? We too charge the book by its cover. And as we pull up at this huge house at the end of a cul-de-sac, his mom storms out, hugs him, kisses him, near tears, and once she's done welcoming her son back, she welcomes us in the near exact same fashion, insists that we spend at least a night, if not 2, in her house, clean up, get a shower, sleep in a real bed, because you brought my boy back. She was so happy and so grateful. Here's a vague hope that somebody maybe has heard of that story before or knows the guy, because I forgot his name. I've lost his contact. It's too long ago. I even asked my stepbrother. He doesn't have any contact. We don't know where he is now. I'm sure he's doing great. But this was part of a road trip experience that really teaches you something about the country that you're in, and about humanity, and about how moms are always the same, and that this constant in life seems to be something that grounds us and anchors us pretty well. A good 20 years later, I find myself again in a car in Utah with a kitten on a string. In this case, it's a proper leash, but I still got reminded of one of the best road trips I've ever taken as we delivered the Kitten to its forever home, which we're quite excited about, that we managed to deliver both of those wonderful animals to proper homes. Anyway, that's the Kitten on a string in a car story. Once again, huge shout out to the wonderful people at Café Passé. Thanks for giving us this gorgeous background to this Babble. And while we're thanking people for their support, another huge thank you to our patrons. Over at patreon.com/blackbikes, you will find another full ride video, this time of the Deer Valley Lift Access Park. There's a bunch of really interesting trails there. Go over to patreon.com. Thank you all for your support, and thanks for listening. And pedal hard.